Breaking news. I knew who Hayden Davis was. I was familiar with his brother. I was familiar with Kelsier Ventures. This photo was taken back in March at the Waldorf, I think it's called, restaurant in LA. And we met Hayden there to get lunch. At the time, I was a content creator for a Cube Exchange. I had met Hayden maybe 2 months before that in Chicago at the Cube office. That's where I was introduced to him and his brother at the same time, in a manner of they were helping with the marketing side of Cube. They were running the KOLs from now on. And so I had close contact communication with Hayden for the solid 3 to 4 months that I was creating at Cube Exchange. As far as my communication goes with Hayden Davis and Kelsier Ventures, after Cube, I hadn't spoken to Hayden or anybody from that side 4 to 5 months. I hadn't spoken to them up until Turkey, Istanbul, Kastanbul. Steve had always kept kind of in contact with them here and there. He had mentioned that he was in Istanbul for Kastanbul. Steve had set up a breakfast for us to go meet with him. It had been a while, hadn't seen Hayden in a while, so I said, sure, we're not doing anything this morning. So we get to breakfast, basic catch up with Hayden, everything that's going on at Kelsier Ventures. He had mentioned to me very briefly that he was doing some big launches with Meteora. He had then told me the news that he helped facilitate, those were his words, the Melania launch. I had no idea of any of that, but that was the extent of what he had kind of expressed at that breakfast. We went on to tell him that we were actually planning on going to Egypt after Istanbul, and he had mentioned he had connections in Egypt, and so he would set us up with a car, set us up at the Four Seasons. He did all that. Within that conversation, he had invited us out to Barcelona. He had invited us to Barcelona many times when we were over at Cube. We just never took him up on the offer. We figured this time, since we were over on that side of the world, and he had he was going to set these things up for us in Egypt, we figured, yeah, why not, So we went to Egypt, used the car that he had set up, stayed at the Four Seasons, and then killed some time in Paris.